Beginning, the arrival on Virelia. The first time I saw her, the stars seemed to bend around her form, a shimmering figure standing against the lavender skies of Virelia. Her name was Seris, a Virelian commander. Their species were known for elegance mixed with danger, beings that could disarm you with a glance and destroy you with a gesture. I was Captain Elias Ward, a human envoy sent to negotiate peace after the disastrous skirmish at the Outer Ring. The Galactic Alliance wanted a truce, but no one had ever succeeded in making one with the Virelians. They considered humans impulsive, reckless, emotional. And perhaps they were right. Our ship landed in the crystalline fields outside the Virelian capital. Everything gleamed. The ground was made of glassy stone that reflected the twin suns, and the air shimmered with faint bioluminescence. When Seris entered the hall, the crowd fell silent. Her armor was woven with silver threads that pulsed like veins of light. Her eyes, deep emerald, almost glowing, locked onto mine. "You are the human captain?" she asked, her tone more like a challenge than a question. "I am," I replied, trying to sound composed. "Captain Elias Ward, representing the Alliance." She smirked, the faintest curl of her lips, like she was testing me. "Brave enough to come here alone. Foolish enough to believe we want peace." "I believe in possibility," I said, steadying my voice. "Not certainty." Her eyes softened just slightly before she turned away. "Follow me, human. Let's see if your belief can survive the truth." Middle. The game of words and secrets. Days passed in tense negotiations. The Virelians were proud. Too proud to admit defeat, too curious to ignore the human presence among them. Seris oversaw every session. Every time she spoke, her voice carried the weight of both threat and allure. She questioned everything: human morality, human loyalty, human fear. One evening after the council adjourned, I found her outside the Citadel. The night sky of Virelia was breathtaking, streaks of violet nebulae weaving across the heavens. Seris stood there, her back to me, gazing at the stars like she was listening to them. "You shouldn't be out here alone," I said. "I could say the same to you," she replied. "But humans seem to have a habit of walking into danger. Maybe we're just curious," I said. She turned then, her smirk returning, but this time softer. "Curious. That's one word for it. I'd call it something else." "What's that?" "Defiance," she said. "You defy odds, logic, and sometimes sense itself." Chuckled. "That's what keeps us alive." Her eyes flickered with something unreadable. "Perhaps that's what makes you interesting." We talked for hours under the nebulae, about our worlds, our wars, our losses. She told me that her people were engineered long ago by another race, the architects, beings who vanished, leaving behind their creations to fight for survival. "You think we're perfect," she said quietly. "But we were designed to conquer. It's written in us. Peace isn't natural for my kind." "Then rewrite it," I said. She looked at me as though I'd said something both stupid and profound. "Rewrite nature." "Yes," I said, stepping closer. "If you can shape energy and forge light into armor, then you can choose what kind of being you want to be." That was when she smirked again, a sharper one this time. "You speak like someone who hasn't seen what happens when ideals meet reality." "Maybe," I said. "But you don't look like someone who's given up." For the first time, she didn't have a response. Conflict, the betrayal in the shadows. 3 nights later, everything changed. A coded message came through. A human vessel had entered Virelian orbit without clearance. The Virelians saw it as an act of war. Seris was furious. She confronted me in the war chamber. "Did you order this?" "No," I said. It must be a rogue crew or sabotage. Convenient, she spat. You talk of peace and send warships to our doorstep. Listen to me, Seris, I said, stepping forward. You know I wouldn't do that. Someone wants to destroy this truce. Her eyes narrowed. You expect me to trust a human. I expect you to trust what you've seen in me, I said. You're too smart to let emotion blind you. For a long moment she said nothing. Then finally, I'll investigate, she whispered. But if you lie to me again, I'll make sure your kind never steps foot here again. Later that night, I followed a signal trace deep beneath the Citadel, a communication hub powered by crystal nodes. There I found something shocking. A Virelian general was transmitting orders to the human warship, feeding them coordinates, orchestrating the conflict to make peace impossible. Before I could send a warning, a voice echoed from the shadows. You shouldn't have come here, Captain. It was the general. He drew a plasma blade, its edge burning green. I reached for my sidearm, too late. He lunged. A flash of light cut through the chamber. The general froze, eyes wide, as Seris stepped out of the darkness, her own weapon buried in his chest. She withdrew it slowly, her expression unreadable. I followed you, she said. I wanted to see if you'd betray us. I looked at her, panting. And now? She stepped closer, too close, her face inches from mine. Now I see the truth. Revelation, the smirk and the truth. The council gathered again the next morning. The sabotage was exposed, the traitors' data decrypted. The human vessel retreated, and the fragile truce held, for now. After the meeting, Seris approached me privately in the observatory. The air shimmered with faint auroras, streams of light cascading through glass domes. You risked your life, she said softly. You didn't have to. I couldn't let both our worlds fall apart because of one lie, I said. She stared at me for a long time, then, to my surprise, she smirked. That's what surprises me about humans, she said. You act without knowing if it will save you or destroy you. You gamble everything for hope. That's who we are, I said with a faint smile. She stepped closer, her eyes glinting. Do you know what my people call that? I shook my head. She leaned in, her voice low like a secret meant for only me. Beautiful. For a moment the room seemed to fade, the stars outside blurring into streaks of silver. She smirked again, softer now. That's what no human expects to hear from a Virelian. We don't call things beautiful. We call them useful. But you, she hesitated, her gaze flicking between my eyes. You remind me of something we lost. Something we forgot existed. What's that? Yes. Wonder, she whispered. Ending. A new beginning. The treaty was signed a week later. For the first time in decades, the human fleet and Virelian forces stood side by side. Before I left Virelia, Seris met me at the landing bay. She wore no armor, just a simple robe of white and silver. You're leaving, she said quietly. I have to, I said. But I'll be back. Peace needs more than signatures. It needs people who believe in it. She looked at me for a long time, then smirked one last time. Careful, Captain. You might make me believe in humans more than I should. Maybe that's not such a bad thing, I said. As I turned to leave, she called after me, her voice echoing in the metallic chamber.